Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a motherfucking smack at it. Fire, fire. In the Menudo style in direct fashion, we're going to get straight to the content of the day. But before we do, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun is kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So a lot of people have been asking me to give my I guess my take on the soft white underbelly interview with Mundo Mendoza, right? Now, Mundo's been doing, he's had his channel, he's been doing interviews, he's been doing things of that nature for a while. You know, he's nothing new to this. And, you know, when speaking about someone like Mundo, I have to do it with respect. And I have to walk a thin line. And I'll explain to you why. You know, someone who lived that life, who was really about that life, okay, and achieved a certain level way prior to myself even being born and half the people watching this even being born, you know, you got to put a little respect on his name. Now, I understand there's a lot of people that believe because he went assed out backwards and chose to leave the criminal lifestyle that they're feeling some type of way about him. Like, I guess he just couldn't hack it. But do you understand that this guy fell off? This guy backed up from the criminal lifestyle. This guy made his choice way before I was even born, or right around the time I was born, okay? So this is someone of legendary status who was doing dirt back in my grandfather's day, okay? Someone who was highly respected in and out of the prison system, someone who basically the history is written around. Now, we've all watched the movie American Me, and we all seen that there was a character in the movie named Mundo. Now, this guy was loosely based upon Mundo Mendoza. So to see him pop up on Soft White Underbelly after all these years, he's kind of going out of his shell. Of course, his face was covered, man. He's covered his face ever since he's been on social media, but he has a lot to say. He's an historian when it comes to a certain prison organization, an organization that he once was a part of, an organization that he helped to shape. Now, this guy, Soft White Underbelly, this channel, Mark, has, he brings you a lot of hot takes, a lot of street people. You know, I remember when Mark first popped out and he was interviewing, you know, the Whitakers and of course, a lot of other different people from the local area out there, you know, in the Los Angeles district, a lot of homeless people, a lot of drug addicts, a lot of prostitutes, people that were actually down on their luck. These are the type of people that he interviewed because he was giving you a raw take on their lifestyle. Now, subsequently, since then, he's kind of jumped into like people like Boxer Enriquez and now Mundo Mendoza. And these are two guys that were definitely a part of the life. There's no denying it. There's a lot of people that don't know their stories, and there's a lot of people that do. I happen to be one of those people that do and can verify that a lot of these stories that Mundo tells are absolutely correct. And even some that he tells that I don't know about, I can kind of put my stamp on it and say, hey, only that man would know, right? Now, in anything that you do on social media, law enforcement is going to be aware. Okay, they're going to watch. They have the right to watch just like anyone else. So there's certain things you should and should not say just based upon it could bring up or rehash old memories and old cases. There's a lot of cold cases, a lot of things that have never been brought to light that only these individuals would know. Okay, and now what that does is that opens up a whole new can of worms, and that could easily get people indicted, caught up, arrested. But you got to understand, with people like Boxer Enriquez and people like Mundo Mendoza, these guys are highly intelligent and they're aware. They're also aware. They know what to say and what not to say. Now, a lot of these interviews, when people ask me, hey, Gun, can you give your take on it, your perspective? We're not listening or hearing anything we haven't heard before coming from these individuals. Okay, we all know their stories. For those of you that don't know Mundo Mendoza's story, go over to Soft White Underbelly and hear it. You know, this is a guy that started as a kid to get into the criminal life and found his way into an organization that was just starting. And I don't like to speak too much upon that organization just based on out of respect, and it's none of my business. We're going to keep it like that, you know? But at the same time, when you have guys, it boggles my mind when you have guys that were actually part of it at a very high level speaking on it. This shows me two things. Either one, they have super big fucking balls and they don't care about repercussions, or two, they really truly mean and they truly understand and want to help people to get away from being involved. Now, I myself was a gang member for a lot of years, and I have a different mentality. When it comes to me, man, I always had older homeboys pulling me one way and some pulling me another. There was always those OG homeboys that would get out of the pinta and they would tell me, hey, gun, this ain't for you, bro. Stay out the way. You know, let us handle this business. And then there were those that like, fuck that, bro. Get on, little homie. Let's get down, homie, right? Make it happen. So I was being pulled in two different ways, but the quietly as it's kept, here's some knowledge you can't get in college. I wasn't listening to either one. I already had my mind made up what I was going to do, you know, and I was going to take it to the extreme and gain the respect of the Vaudou and gain the respect of the people around me, which really didn't mean shit. But at the end of the day, I thought it did. And that's all that mattered, is what I thought, not what they thought, not what anyone else thought. And in doing that, I created a lot of victims. I created a lot of animosity, a lot of envy, a lot of anger, and a lot of bullshit that didn't amount to nothing. Because nowadays in the future, you know, after things have come to pass, there's people in that lifestyle that I can't be around because they feel one way or another about me. And then there's other people that I can walk proudly with my head held high because I outlived the bullshit. What I have come to believe was a waste of time for me. Now, I'm not the type to push anyone against gangs. I'm not the type to push anyone against organizations or nothing like that, because at the end of the day, this is what I believe. I believe each man, each boy, each kid, each person should make their own decisions. You have the right to make your own decisions. Now, I could show you how it led me down a certain path. I could show you what that lifestyle did for me, but ultimately, it's going to be different for each person. I can't tell you your future. I can't tell you how it's going to be for you. I can only show you how it's going to be for me. And I'm sure Mundo and even Boxer Enriquez feel the exact same way. Now, they tell their stories because the popularity of their stories is tremendous. People are tripping like, oh, did you see Mundo on Soft White Underbelly? I did. But I also seen Mundo on his own channel. I've seen Mundo for years aiding and assisting authorities in getting people incarcerated. I've seen Mundo giving game to the feds. I've seen Mundo in so many different lights. Do I respect him as a man? He's worthy of the respect, but I don't agree with everything he's done. Absolutely, at the end of the day. And I don't think a lot of people in that lifestyle do. But me not even being part of that lifestyle, I still don't believe in assisting the authorities to incarcerate other men. Whether if you step back from a group, if you choose that the lifestyle is not yours and you no longer want to be a part of it, there should be no reason for you to assist any type of law enforcement or anyone in the capturing of other people or smutting other people up. It trips me out that a lot of these guys that have stepped back still want to be a part of the lifestyle to the point where they're really ready to become special witnesses, help incarcerate men that they've never come across, that they've never known, just because they live that lifestyle. They can give the intricate details into that lifestyle. Like, what is that? How does that make you a special witness? How does that make you someone that knows you weren't there for the exact crime that these guys committed? You don't know what their mentality was and what they were thinking rather than what you were thinking when you committed yours. So it's just unfortunate to see that. Now, as far as Mundo goes, I don't know. Mundo's an older gentleman now, and his stories are great. To be honest with you, when had we ever in the history of being involved in a gang thought that in the future, and this is the future we're living in now, 2025, that we would be able to put on YouTube or any type of social media platform and see ex-made men, guys that were really with the business in a vicious fashion, spilling their guts, telling their stories. It's not like a movie. It's not like a soap opera. This stuff really happened. These things really took place. This is real history. Unfortunately, it's not the good part of history, but it is history. It's in the DNA and the fabric of America. And these guys played their part. Now, for them to tell their stories and talk about what they went through, it's intriguing and good listening. But when you really think about the stories they tell, even the stories I tell, everyone, there's victims in these stories. There's victims' families. There's people that got unsettled business. There's people that feel some type of way. And myself, other people that tell these stories, Renegade Media, Dubs. And then I don't even want to put us in the category of the other guys because we're not, right? But when we tell stories, we're coming from a place of we want to help in some capacity for you to realize that, hey, we made mistakes. We understand we made those mistakes, or at least myself and Dubs, right? And we just want to carry on and shed a good light and have a little fun, entertain. And it is what it is. Now you got these guys like Mundo and Boxer and even Renegade to some point, right? That want to tell you these stories to kind of scare you away from that life and I guess open the doors for you to realize that, hey, you're being utilized. Now, myself, I don't think a man can be utilized unless he allows himself to be. So it's like one way or the other, I don't care. I don't care if, you think you don't have what it takes or you think that you're being manipulated. You should know already. It starts at a very young age, this grooming and this characterization of the gang lifestyle and what you think it is. Everybody knows. I knew I was doing wrong. I knew I was fucking up. I knew I was making the bad moves. I didn't care. All I cared about was what the homies thought about me and what I thought about the man that I looked in the mirror and seen. Nothing else mattered. I didn't care what my family thought. I didn't care what the victims of my crimes thought. Now I do. Now I care tremendously what they think because, I'm a different man. I'm a changed man. And from what I see from Boxer, Enriquez, and Mundo Mendoza, and everyone else, they claim to be changed men. And I truly hope that's the case, but they're a whole different level of a criminal compared to someone like myself or even Dubs or anyone else. These guys they were part of a mob. They were part of a criminal organization, and it's a trip that I could turn on the TV and I could see people like Sammy the Bull. People like who's the other guy? Michael fucking, I don't know what his name is. He's another mobster, right? People like, Mundo Mendoza that actually sit down and do these interviews and relive their life without any concern for the victims' families' thoughts, without any concern for law enforcement, because these guys are kind of immune. They've already worked their deals out. And to see them get so much love and respect boggles my mind. Oh, man, Mundo's a real one. He really did. I read the comments, right? Look, at the end of the day, there's a category of killers. There's a category of burglars. There's a category of thieves, category of robbers, all these different categories that people slip into, and some even more than others, different slots. There's nothing good about it, okay? There's nothing you should be proud of because you killed people. You shouldn't be proud because you broke into a home and stole someone else's property, or you ran up on someone and shot him in the face. None of this shit you should be proud of, and I don't understand how these stories, even when I tell them how they help people, all they do is rehash old memories. And that's kind of why I've taken the comedic and the entertainment route to kind of step away from some of these stories. I get asked all the time, and I'm sure Mundo Mendoza gets asked all the time, how do you feel about causing death and causing tragedy in this world? Because you only get one chance to make a mark in this world, and the mark we've made is stained. It's no good. There's an asterisk next to it. And I'll forever say, I regret everything I've done. I regret the lifestyle I chose to live, not because I was being used or because it was a waste of time. I regret it because I hurt innocent people, because in my mind, I thought I was better than other people. Now, when I see these guys go on Soft White Underbelly, I'm not hating, because their life is always going to be their life. They're always going to have the respect that they have, within that lifestyle for the things that they've done. Because I guess in the lifestyles, not I guess, I know in the lifestyle, you're judged based upon, how much work you put in, how high you achieved on that fucking gang lifestyle. And these guys, they achieved the ultimate, far surpassed what I could have ever done or did, right? And I ain't mad at them, and I ain't mad at myself for not, but again, when you continue to go and do these interviews and rehash that old life, it's like a slap in the face to the people that, families lost their lives. Even people recently that they weren't even involved in that lose their lives in the gang lifestyle. The families, the mothers that are crying out, the kids that don't have the fathers anymore because they're either doing life, the babies' mamas that are now struggling on welfare because their old man's doing life because he wanted to hang around with the homeboys and act cool and tough, right? It's a lifestyle that we choose that's harder on everyone else, and we don't realize how hard it is on us until it's too late. And then guys like Mundo Mendoza and Boxer Enriquez and several others, right, can easily just say, you know what, I'm done now. And now I'm going to fold up shop, but I'm going to take everybody with me. And they're praised and rewarded nowadays. People like Sammy the Bull, oh, well, he was a real one. He did this. The fact is, and I'm not woofing on these men, I'm not in a fucking place to woof on them. But the fact is that these guys played the game, chose to step away from the game, but took a lot of people with them in the game. And that's a fucked up thing. No matter how you want to slice it or dice it. I get so much hate. Oh, he's a dropout. He's not. But I never brought anybody down to my level. I never took anyone with me. When I got out of the game because of politics within my own people, I didn't turn around and say, he's going with me, he's going with me, he's going with me, and continue after all these years to still sit down as a special circumstantial witness and participate. No, I didn't do that for my own self-greed and to keep myself out of prison. Hey, I step back. It's not in me no more. Your homies don't want me around no more. That's cool, homie, but do your guys' thing respectfully. And that's exactly, I remember what I did on the tier when they said, hey, brother Gunner, what happened, homie? I said, hey, I'm going to respectfully ask that my name be kept off this tier, bro. I'm going to go ahead and step back and let you guys do you. I'm going to do me. They said, all right, homie. And that was it. And that's how it was forever forward. But guys like Mundo that get praised, hey, Mundo's on soft white. What do you think? What do you think? I think he's what he is. I think he's an older gentleman with a lot of history that, will tell you his stories. But if you really listen closely, still is intrigued with the lifestyle lightweight. Now, I'm not here to wolf on Mundo and call him a rat or a punk or none of that. No, that dude's a stone cold killer, man. He done his thing. And I understand that. But to keep it real and to give you knowledge you can't get in college, I'll say for the people that are fanning out over the interview and they're like, oh, yeah, bro, this is crazy. All you have to do to go to his channel and hear the stories that he tells, it trips me out because it's a way on his channel to air out past grievances and past stories and discrepancies that he didn't like about certain individuals within that organization. And then also praising the accolades of certain people and kind of glorifying that. It's just a trip to me. I've listened for years, and that's the take I get. Now with Boxer Mendoza, when I did my little, Boxer Enriquez, and even Boxer Mendoza to some effect, because he does interviews too. The same thing. It's these guys reliving their glory days. And even myself, man, when I tell you these stories, but I'm not scared to tell you my L's, and I'm just trying to entertain you guys in a comedic way, but nothing that's going to put people in a situation where they can be incarcerated or talk about shit like that, Now with Mundo, he's highly intelligent. This guy's always covered his face. He's always kept, himself out of the limelight as far as being able to get caught up. And why do people do this? Just like Soft White Underbelly, why is he covering these guys' faces? There's a lot of other people that talk about crime that they've committed or things that they do, and he doesn't cover their face, but he covers these guys' faces. Regardless if you keep their face covered or whatever you do, you've now associated yourself and become part of that life because you're allowing these guys a platform to speak on things that could get people caught up. I hate to say it, but it just is the truth. What I got from the Mundo Mendoza interview was not too much. Old stories that I've heard him tell, his lifestyle that I've heard, that I've seen actually in a movie. And I'm not going to hate this man, nor say I praise him. I'm going to say Mundo does what he does because he wants to do it and he knows what time it is. He's very intelligent. If you notice guys like him, guys like Boxer Enriquez, they're showing a level of intelligence that myself, Dubs, and other people already know about. You know, we tell you these guys in these criminal organizations, they're like scientists, rocket scientists. They're very intelligent. They know what's up. And people that think gang members are just dumb, they're always incarcerated, they're doing burglaries and stupid things, they don't know the life. You know, these guys can tell you and show you a level of intelligence that probably you've never seen before. These are the type of guys I function around in prison. Guys that were so smart, man, used to trip me out. Guys that studied the dictionary, the thesaurus every day, could tell you every word in the dictionary and recite the meanings behind it. Guys that were just, they soaked knowledge. They were able to educate people, not only in the criminal lifestyle, but they could educate people just like a school. They can give you the knowledge that you could get in college. It was a trip. Anyway, so as far as I feel about the Mundo Mendoza thing, it's just another interview with another person who decided to step away from a criminal organization. And there's nothing special there, you know, for the people that are like, oh, I can't believe it. I can, man. This guy's been giving interviews to people in law enforcement for years, decades now. And Mundo's an older gentleman who's now into church. So to see him still do these interviews, you know, there has to be a reasoning behind it, whether it's money or just putting the story out there because he thinks it can help people. I don't see how it's going to help people. I think it's just a little bit of glorifying, but that's just me. You know, who am I? I'm Gunner's Collective. You know, at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that don't like me because they feel the exact same way about me, but you can never put me on that level, man, because I didn't do anything like this. And I'm not no special witness. I don't go sit down, and I'm not bitter or hating or nothing. I'm just being real. I'm saying what a lot of other people are thinking, but scared to say. You know, respects to these social media platforms that are able to be in contact with these guys. You know, how Mark was able to get in contact with Boxer, Enriquez, or even Mundo boggles my mind. But it's crazy. My thought is you would think that these guys that really, you know, testified against heavy hitters in criminal organizations would kind of disappear and step away and change their life for the good. And, you know, we're talking about put a lot of men in prison, but instead it's like a slap in the face. And, you know, it's not that I'm scared. It's just that I'm aware, and I just wouldn't put myself in that position. Anyways, with that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive for what I truly believe in. And that's the betterment of other people. Let me know what you think. I'm not hating, just being real. The gun.